the next film we got is Godzilla Minus One, and this is one of them ones, folks. Like this is probably in my top 5 to 3 of this year, man. This film was directed by Takashi Yamazaki. And this is a Toho Company film, the original creators of Godzilla. Our cast, let me see. We've got Minami Hamabi. I won't be messing these all up, man. I just want to get the main people out the way, though. Hidetaka Yoshioka, Kamiki Ryu, where's that? Ru Nosuke, and Sakura Ando. She was kind of funny in this thing, man. I think that was the neighbor.
Yeah.
And they kind of got this cast list short. I did like the Admiral too in there. He reminded me of Admiral Grimmett from DuckTales. But this film is interesting. So in this story, I do like the setting of this a lot too. So in this story, Japan is already devastated by the war, where a new crisis emerges in the form of a giant monster. So in this story, it's right after Japan has surrendered. The bombs have been dropped, so Japan is kind of digging out of the rubble, which is where we meet our main character. And he's actually, this is a crazy part because I don't think they fully surrender when we meet our main character, but they're about to. But they're still sending these guys the pilots on suicide missions. So our pilot, he don't want to go through with it. So he fakes a malfunction on his plane and heads to an island that it got reserved for, for plane repairs. Yeah. And while there, that's when we get introduced to Godzilla overnight, this force of nature. And it's interesting because he's smaller here. So, everybody dies but him and some other dude. Then later on, he finally gets home and he's trying to rebuild his life. And it's interesting, man, because a lot of people hate the human stuff in Godzilla movies, and I think they hate the human stuff in American Godzilla movies. It's dumb as hell. Like, when you see this compared to what they've done with that, it's like, dude, what have we been doing all these years? But anyway, he's trying to rebuild his life. He comes home. I think his parents are gone, and it's just him at the house, and he finds meets a woman, and she has a kid with her. She's kind of in just homeless, running around. So he takes her in, and together they start rebuilding their lives. He gets a job, she gets a job or whatever. But then, this is crazy. He gets a job in the ocean. I love this part, man. They're a mine-sweeping crew, trying to clean up the oceans, post-war. And then Godzilla's back. I don't know how much time has passed. What do you think? Like a year? A couple years?
Yeah, a couple months probably. Yeah, a couple months. Godzilla shows
like that
up.
Kid was like a baby though. Like, remember the baby?
Yeah. I guess so. It might have been a year or two. Yeah, it might have been a year or two. She wasn't even. She was an infant. Yeah, in the beginning of the film, and she was like a toddler. She was able to walk around. When we see when Godzilla strikes. Shows back up.
So he gets the job on this boat crew, and they send him orders to go, check out this site. And you see the ship just banged up. You're like, what did that? And my man immediately is like, man, that creature I was seeing on that beach back in the day, but this thing's way bigger. Long story short, it's Godzilla, and man, this dang movie is crazy, man. I love this thing, man. I think the combination of what they did with Godzilla and the human story just makes this thing work, because the thing about the Godzilla movies here, usually, especially, I wasn't a fan of the was it Gareth Edwards? He did the remake, just because we had a lot of downtime with the humans that just sucked, and very little bit of Godzilla. So this film, even though there's probably about the same amount of Godzilla screen time, I feel like the human moments just didn't suck and drain me. I love this moments, him fighting, him getting on it, and with the crew. And then by the time we get to Godzilla and what they did with Godzilla, it's like a cherry on top. It's like, dang, Yeah,
it was real cool because main character Kiyoshi. Mm-hmm. Is that you think that's?
I think so. Or
yeah, he was a kamikaze pilot, and he was supposed to have been a goner, but he backed out, and he's pretty much regaining his life and everything. And It to me, it was a lot of having to do with PTSD and just post war and
even the PTSD of the country itself, man. That stuff resonated with me.
Yeah, I really thought this was a real cool movie. There's a airplane that our pilot flies in it that to me might be one of my favorite aircraft I've ever seen in a film.
Give me a second. Hold up. Because I had to look it up, man. Because I was like, bro, is this thing real?
Did you buy it?
I will try to put this thing together one of these days. This is $20 on Amazon, man. It might go up now that this movie's out. But I got this the day after I went and watched that. But this is the Kayushi J7W1 Shinden. There were only 2 of them made in real life. They were never put into production. They were a prototype. But I love when films put that historical touch in it. Yeah. When you're mixing real stuff in, and it's crazy, man. So speak to that. Like I said, man, if you took Godzilla out of this movie, I think this is still a good film, and I think that's part of why this works.
Whatever enemy that they would have had to go up against to to kind of whatever it would have been. It really was a good, very well told film.
Yeah, because also I think you're looking at a country. I mean, even though they did try to join with Germany and take over the world, but a lot of times when this stuff happens, they're loyal to the emperor, so you're following your orders. I mean, there's some arguments that could be made about that as well. But at the same time, there's people that aren't directly involved in those decision makings that are still dealing with the aftermath of what the government does. Like one of the lines that really stood out to me is later on, because this plane that they build, this one, it has safety measures, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different. But one of the things that gets me is one of the characters at the end. Because our main character, he has survivor's guilt. He's like, maybe I could have made a difference. The woman, even when he comes home, is like, you were a kamikaze pilot. Why did you come back? It's because guys like you that this happened to us. The bombs got dropped and we had to surrender. But the one character says this line, and I love this line. He says, our government we've been too wasteful with life. You know what I'm saying? And that hit me, and I'm like, yeah, because that's kind of crazy as a policy to have your pilots like that's it. We're sending them out to death. They don't even have enough fuel to make it back from the mission. They just got enough to get there and crash their plane and I'm like, yeah, that is kind of deep right there, man. That's crazy. And in a way, it's almost these people getting their dignity back from what their government forced them to do and get involved in, in a way, so that I think that is the cherry on top, man, with this. And I don't know what you can argue that Godzilla represents, but he's this character, man. I love this Godzilla. It's not, you're not reasoning with him. He's not no bumbling toddler that just doesn't understand, and we've got to figure out how to live with him.
He's just an old school Godzilla that just would go around pissed off and fucking stuff up.
Yeah. There's not enough room in that ocean for Japan and Godzilla. He's gonna destroy that thing eventually, and no reasoning with him, no getting along.
He also was like the Godzilla, like out of the first movie, to where nobody pissed him off. He just showed up on land and just starting fights. And when you watch the whole Toho series, they were he goes from like villain to hero in a way, because even I actually have that box set from Criterion, which is insane. All the Toho films. Sometimes Godzilla will just act like a jerk up until, and then take another monster to kind of put him in check or something. You know what I'm saying? But it's I don't know. He might be my favorite monster of all time. At least my favorite kaiju, but this film, this film did him justice, and I went in not knowing what I never really acted. This is one of the few movies I went to see in years that I didn't see the trailer to, so I went in fresh. I just knew it was a Godzilla film, and everybody was been raving about it, and I didn't. I hadn't really seen that airplane at all until I saw the film, and I lost my mind. At that.
What got me too is that I think I knew that Shin Godzilla was so good, and the only thing that I really knew about it was kind of a reimagining of the origin. Even though this isn't connected to Shin Godzilla, but it's just like, I love how it still does have some of the elements of the original film. Like, even the way that they, try to actually fight him eventually is similar to that original film. And also, I think I might watch that again soon, man, just to, go through that stuff again and relive it out. But man, this thing is great, man. It even the visually, it pulls it off. I've seen some stuff in here that we haven't seen before in a Godzilla film, like that extended swimming chase scene. That was kind of crazy, man. That gave me and also when they finally staged their kind of last stand against them, I'm getting some Jaws vibes as well, man. The thing with the ships, like it's this thing is so cool, man. Like it's crazy to me, like when I think about it, that a Godzilla film could be this good. But also,